I want to start with a handful of great black genre benders that dropped albums in 2010, and there are tons of them. And I want to start with Kid Cudi because his Man on the Moon 2 album came out, and I listened to this album quite a bit when it came out. And looking back at it 10 years later, it does age well, and my opinion definitely changed a little bit because there was a period of time where I was pretty upset with Kid Cudi. I don't know why. I don't remember why. I think some of his later albums just wasn't, that interesting. And I listened to Man on the Moon again, and I was like, oh my God, why did I ever like this? But there were some great ideas on it, but just at the time I was just so angry. And then I saw him live, and I'm thinking, whoa, like people really still care about Kid Cudi. And I still cared about Kid Cudi. I still liked his albums, but listening to it at that time, this was like 3 or 4 years ago, I'm like, oh my God, I'm sick of this. But recently listening to it, especially right after Kids See Ghosts came out, I'm like, this album does age well. There are a lot of great ideas on this project, especially Maniac with Cage. In this song, talk about genre bending, samples St. Vincent, specifically the song Strangers, which I absolutely love. And I don't know any rappers, especially in 2010, that were sampling St. Vincent, so kudos to you, Kid Cudi. And this album was definitely very, very influential. And Travis Scott and the late Juice WRLD were vocal about their love and admiration for Mr. Cudi. And speaking of, genre bending, well, this album is the genre benders of genre benders, at least for this time. Erase Me with Kanye West. And this song, looking back at it, it's a little corny. It's a little cheesy. But it's very catchy and it ages surprisingly well. And this song, it's a full-blown rock song with some rap verses, with Kanye West rapping. That's it. You could have played this on any rock station at the time. Really? I think so. Go back and listen to it. I'm not crazy. And this entire album was it had a lot of, indie rock influence on it. Something that a lot of rappers weren't doing. There was another rapper that dropped an album this year that had a little indie rock influence, which we'll get to in a second. And that man is Mr. Bobby Ray himself, B.O.B. 10 years ago, he dropped his debut full-length B.O.B. The Adventures of Bobby Ray. And this record, along the lines of Cudi's record, had an indie rock influence, but B.O.B. dove more into the pop realm and mixed it in with the Atlanta hip-hop flavor that was continuing to boom around this period, which we'll definitely talk about later. Now, what I loved about this album is that he collaborated with rock stars to make massive and amazing pop tunes. One of them is Magic with Rivers Cuomo of Weezer, and Airplanes with Hayley Williams of Paramore. And these two records were big. Well, Airplanes was the biggest, and I was kind of annoyed with this song because I heard it so many times, but it is a good album. It's a great song. It is. And Magic with Rivers Cuomo, I remember hearing it in a commercial. It's a beautiful, simple pop tune with a great chorus, with a great melody, some great verses from B.O.B. It fits so well. It was a pop record and it had some hip hop flavor and the styles didn't clash one bit. It was a perfect fit. And Q-Tip famously said, rap is not pop. If you call it that, then stop. But you know what? I have to disagree, man. Especially around this time period, hip hop was taking over the pop world and it's become embedded in pop culture. There's been so many great rap tunes around this time period, before that and after, that were the hottest songs in the whole country. So rap is pop music. Pop music is not a dirty word. And again, speaking of great genre benders, this record had a pseudo cover of The Kids Don't Stand a Chance from Vampire Weekend. And B.O.B.'s version, The Kids, featured Janelle Monae. And this was the first time I've ever heard Janelle Monae in a song. And they did a hell of a job with this tune. Again, another example of hip hop tune mixing with indie rock to make this kind of pop result, which I love. It's great. And 10 years later, it still sounds amazing. And we'll talk about Janelle Monae in a second because she had quite a 2010. And her album Arcandroid came out, and it's about Cindy Mayweather, an android sent back in time to free the citizens of the fictional Metropolis from the Great Divide, a secret society that uses time travel to suppress freedom and love. And this record, my God, it was very creative. Very, very creative. It blends show tunes, funk, soul, punk, and hip hop. Like, I don't know any other album that has Big Boy and Of Montreal on the same album. Really. Just another example of a great black genre benders. Like, I love it. Like, this is the year that black artists aren't afraid to do music that's not really, you would associate with black people. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. Music is music. It's just about the art and the artist making it. That's it. Like, it doesn't matter what genre that you're doing. It doesn't matter as long as your ideas are executed well. Who gives a shit? A good song is a good song. And more specifically, I want to talk about "Come Alive." This track is a standout on this album. Has a lot of Afro punk, swing. It's just, oh man, it's beautiful. You have to hear it. It's amazing. It's like it's like a punk record that you would hear in Broadway, And this whole album, the Arcandroid, it is Broadway in album form. For those that are kind of, missing Broadway and, we can't have Broadway right now because of everything that's going on with COVID, listen to this album. You'll get your Broadway fix, definitely.